Welcome back to the Chicago Tomahawk. I'm Mike, and I got my line mate Matt with me. And today we're going to go over some Blackhawks news and some NHL news, some rumors, and kind of what we think is how things are going to play out. So, obviously, everybody knows the draft is this week. It's June 28th. It's Saturday when we're recording this. So 4 days away. Cannot wait. I can't wait to get this over with to make Bedard official, unless something freaking crazy happens. If you go to the Blackhawks website, you can order his jersey now and they'll ship it after they confirm what number he's going to wear and all that stuff. And the name on the jersey too. So, I have to put that out there.
What do you think? 98 or 16?
I'm going to go with 16.
I wonder why, he wore a different jersey in Team Canada, right? And then...
Right.
You got to be patient with that one. I'm going to be really patient. Definitely going to get one.
Yeah.
Definitely going to get one, though.
Yeah. I think I might have to put my order in, man.
I think 98's cool, man. It's different.
I
think it's cool.
I hate it. I hate it because I think it just looks terrible, Like 99 looks good. Say like a number like 73, that looks terrible.
Yeah, I agree.
Do you know anyone who wears 73?
Tyler Toffoli, right?
I have no idea.
Hey, I have to stop you right here because I said Tyler Toffoli. I just literally opened up a rumor. The Hawks are interested in Tyler Toffoli.
Oh,
so gosh. I gotta bring that up before I forget. But hey,
I'm not a fan.
Two-time Cup champ, need some cap space. You could be all right here. But
I guess we're gonna get into that in a couple minutes, anyways. But let's close out this number debate. I just as long as it's I might have to hold off on my order because if it is 98, I don't know if I'll be able to wear the jersey.
I like it, dude. It's almost like Kaner. You don't see a lot of 88s. It's just him and Lindros, And
him, Lindros, and who else wears 88? There's one more person.
Vasilevsky.
Yeah.
It's a weird goalie number, man. Very weird. Yeah, Tyler Toffoli, number 73. God, I'm good.
Brutal. Brutal, man. Yeah, I don't think 90. Like when Roenick went to the Coyotes and he was wearing 97, I was like, why? 97 is actually a pretty decent looking number.
Was that the year he was traded? Was it?
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe. That's still weird. I love 27. Loved it.
He wore 97 for the Flyers too, didn't he?
Yes, he did. He never went back to 27, I don't think.
Right.
That's
if I can interview him, I'd love to ask him why.
Yeah, that's really weird. I love 27. I love
27's not a common number. What if Bedard wears number 7, dude?
Chelly and Siebes are going to be pissed.
What if he comes in and it's like, yeah, I want to wear number 7.
I want to wear number 9. Can you take Bobby Hull's thing down? Well, if you remember Taves, they were when they drafted him, they asked him who your favorite player was, and he's like, "Oh, I loved Stevie Y growing up, and my number's always been number 9 though." And the interviewer's like, "Yeah, Bobby Hull wore number 9 here. It's retired." He goes, "Well, there goes that." he didn't even know about it. So
right, yeah. I wonder. I'm just curious. What he's going to want to wear, especially some of the. We have some retired numbers, I guess, but. And obviously we have some players that say 19 and 88 are obviously off limits. They should be.
Yep, number 2.
We'll see, man. I'm thinking he's going to go at 16. I hope that he does. Then again, like 98 is kind of his thing. Seeing him, and I don't know another player that's worn 98. Do you?
No, that's why I think it's cool. It's unique. It's kind of like Connor McDavid. Isn't he 97?
97, yeah.
I've never seen, like Roenick was the only other guy I've remembered wear 97. And
what about 96?
Even Sid, man, 87. I've never seen an 87.
Yeah, that's a cool looking number though.
Yeah.
89's a cool looking number. When I say Sam number 89, Gagner. Who do you think of? You think of Sam Gagner?
I think he was the only guy I know would wear number 89. Yeah.
What about what about one of the best right wings of all time, Alexander Mogilny?
See, I really don't remember that guy. That's how crazy it is.
Wow.
And I look at his numbers. Why he's not in the Hall of Fame class is insane. With
Incredible.
Roenick. Insane.
Right. He was a stud, man, in like every year.
Just I don't know what it is. They have a certain agenda. These guys, they don't want anything to do with guy with Russian ties or Roenick's outspokenness. Sometimes it's the truth and over the top. Some people can't handle the truth, but I don't know. It's crazy. You see like guys like Henrik Lundqvist getting in, even Paul Kariya, and you can't give Alexander Mogilny and Jeremy Roenick a nod. Get out of here.
How can Beret be in and Mogilny not?
And Steve Larmer, the guy had the Iron Man streak.
Yeah,
you got to be kidding me. It's just there's a certain.
I think Steve Larmer has better numbers than Mogilny than Beret does, doesn't he?
I believe so, and Jeremy Roenick has better numbers than Paul Kariya and Eric Lindros.
Right, and obviously Mogilny has better numbers than Beret.
Yep,
and he won 2 cups.
Alexander Mogilny.
Yeah.
I'm
pretty sure he won 2.
Kariya's never won.
Lundros never won.
Lundqvist has never won. Yes, he was a very good goalie. The Rangers fans will say, "Oh, he's the best goalie of all time." He's not. I think Mike Richter was your last really good goalie, and I think that guy's a Hall of Famer. He won the cup. He got the job done. And I would debate anyone. I think Richter was a better goalie than, Henrik Lundqvist. I think this guy stood on his head that year. The whole story was Mark Messier.
Yeah, it was.
You forget about freaking Mike Richter. This dude was robbing Pavel Bure. Huge stops, man, at the biggest moments. And he was a very underrated American goalie, too. And guy was good, man.
Bure was on fire.
Yeah,
he was on fire at the time,
that was a Game 7 victory, right? They were
one
win. Vancouver was 1 win away. This guy just absolutely stood on his head. Very, very good goalie for the Rangers for a long time.
So Matt thinks it's going to be 98. I'll go at 16.
Marcus Kruger's going to be pissed, though.
Yeah, he is, man. And you know what, dude? Marcus Kruger, he came in to be one thing and completely turned his game around and became something else.
Yeah, very good penalty killer, man. Very underrated.
Yeah.
I think they held on to him a little too long. That was the only issue I had. They had to know when to say, hey, this guy's, he's done. And they ended up bringing him back for the reunion show like they do with a lot of guys, like Bowman did. Another good number 16, dude, Radim Verbata. Remember him?
Yeah.
Very good with Marty Havlat. I think he was on a line with Havlat and Hanzus. If you remember,
wow.
the first go
that was when Hanzus his first go around, right?
And he only played 7 games, but they both got 7 points. Havlat and Hanzus.
Wow,
those were the dark ages, though.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, but I'm gonna go 98, dude. I think 98. Okay. It's unique. It's kind of like, hey, I'm my own guy here. I'm going with my own number, and I think that fits Bedard coming in.
I agree. So we're gonna have some free agents going on, this year. In the 24, I think 25 in 2024 and 2025, the free agent classes are supposed to be really good. So I'm not expecting Davidson to really make any big moves this year. But one name that I saw today, I think it was Hawks Insider, was Erik Karlsson for Seth Jones.
Yeah, I saw that too.
So here's something to think about. Okay, Seth Jones obviously has significantly longer term than Erik Karlsson. Okay, but Erik Karlsson's only got 3 years left on his deal at $11 million on a team that is trying to get to the cap floor. Do you think that would be a bad move?
Well, you know how I feel about this guy. I let everybody I know how I feel about him.
Yeah.
For a young team coming up, young defenseman, most like, this is not a guy you want to learn from. And I'm not saying that to be mean, but you need to learn how to play good in your own zone. This guy does not play good in his own zone. I know it's just a money deal, but I think it could hurt some defensemen, especially his partner. I feel bad for that guy because Karlsson would not play defense at all, and you're going to throw a young kid. You know what? I'd even feel bad if it was Connor Murphy. Right? Because he doesn't play the best defense, and he gets lost in his own zone a lot. And that's without Erik Karlsson. So that's what I would be concerned about. The swap for Jones. I'm a Jones fan, dude. I like him. Yes, the money, $9 million a year. It's not bad. You know,
it's not a problem.
It's not a problem. We need to sign to get above the basement
to get to the floor. Yeah.
So I don't understand that one. Jones has a no trade clause. So Jones, if I'm going to get traded, it's like, hey, you're going to send me to a team that's going to contend. You're not going to send me back. Like, I know the Hawks were rebuilding. Now I'm starting over even more. Yeah, cool. Yeah. California, the weather's cool, but dude, the team's going to blow. So I would, if I'm Jones,
and they're not getting Connor. And they're not getting Connor
Bedard. So if anything, Jones is probably, he's going to be happy when they call Connor Bedard's name because his numbers, I think, are going to get better. Because when you surround him with good talent, he's good. Like his last good season in Columbus, that's when Panarin, Atkinson, those guys were lighting it up. And he was, him and Werenski, dude, they were awesome. And now Bedard, you're going to get some young guys that are going to be putting up points. And Jones is going to be, he's going to be a special teams guy. He's going to be on the ice for the power play. So his numbers are going to go up a lot. So with Karlsson, the contract, man, the $13 million a year for 3 years, you might need it, but he just doesn't play defense for me, dude. I think it's gonna hurt. His plus minus is gonna be crappy. He'll put up the points. It could be like an NHL EA Sports like thing. Like, I'm gonna put Karlsson back there and just keep feeding Bedard the puck and get a ton of assists. But I mean, I want Korchinski and Nolan Allen and all these guys being responsible, and I think this is not a good role model.
Right.
That's just my take on it. But nothing against Karlsson. He's probably going to win the Norris Trophy, which is just about getting a lot of points as a defenseman.
Right.
But I mean, still, it doesn't mean you're a really good defenseman. It means you're playing back and you're putting up points. That's all it is to me.
Yeah, I mean, and at least my take is I think you trade one problem for another. Like after Karlsson's gone, I wonder what the defense is going to look like if this trade were to happen.
Just a rumor.
Seth Jones, the $9.5 million that he makes is inconsequential to the Blackhawks because they're a rebuilding team and they're trying to get to the cap basement, to be honest with you. So
what are you adding?
Anybody who wants to talk about his contract, it's null and void on that, alone. I say we keep Jones as long as he wants to stay, man. I think he's going to want to stay because, Bedard coming in, there's going to be other players that want to play with him, especially coming in 2024 and 2025. As I mentioned earlier, the draft class, the free agent classes are supposed to be really good. So if the Blackhawks are still retooling, say we get we sign a free agent that we could trade at the deadline because the Blackhawks aren't exactly competing and get a couple more draft picks, I think that works.
Yeah.
I don't think that the Blackhawks are going to be as bad as they were last season getting a number one pick, but I don't think that they're going to be great. I think that there's going to be some learning.
500.
Like definitely a learning curve for a lot of young players are going to be coming up, kind of like the Devils a few years ago. You had a lot of young kids playing and they were dog shit. And I think it's going to be a little bit of the same story for the Blackhawks. And next summer, they sign a couple guys. And next thing you know, it's like, okay, let's give it a shot. Let's try to make the playoffs. Who knows? Maybe they do make the playoffs in that that 2024, that 24-25 season. Then they go in and they get that big splash for that one guy that puts the roster over the top. So,
Well, I got a prediction,
along with
man.
some smart drafting. Go ahead.
I got a prediction with Seth Jones. I think he's going to have great numbers, and I think he's going to draw attention at the deadline just because of Connor Bedard. I truly believe it. And say at the deadline he's at like 55 points, 60 points.
Right. Wow.
Somebody like a team like Dallas that needs a good puck moving defenseman that so in his own end might say, "Hey, we need a guy like this," and we wanted to pursue him that year, but Chicago outbid us. Maybe Dallas was close last year, dude. They got a young Jason Robertson, Rupe Hintz, and Jake Ottinger. Their other guys are aging out. They might want to swap, like say a Tyler Seguin for a Seth Jones. You know what I'm saying? Kind of like your the Carlson rumor.
Right.
And hey, okay, we'll take Sagan's contract off the books for you, and we only got 2 more years left with it. You could take Jones and the rest of the long term, and they're happy.
Straight up.
Like that's a team that I think should pursue a Seth Jones because their defense was kind of weak in the playoffs.
It was.
But hey, that could happen.
And also Robertson wasn't scoring.
Yeah, he the inexperience in the playoffs showed. Yeah. But he had a great season, and he's only going to get better, man. He's going to get better.
Yeah. So Milan Lucic and Max Domi are also linked to the Blackhawks. I think that Domi's kind of a done deal, to be honest with you. I think that he wants to come back. He liked it here. He enjoyed the experience. I think that he's one of Davidson's guys too. And Milan Lucic, he is essentially was sort of a protector for Connor McDavid at one point.
Yeah, I like it, man. If you can overpay him too for a year or two. You can give him $4 million a year, make him happy, and we're kind of getting above that basement a little bit. And hey, maybe he's having a good season, putting up some decent numbers, and we get like a second, third round pick for him at the deadline, even
cracking some skulls.
And hey, if you're Connor Bedard and you got freaking big Lucic on your line, you're gonna feel a little bit more confident out there.
I don't think that. I think that the memo is going to be out. Massive penalties for hurting Bedard.
Well, if you got a guy like Domi, he's fearless. He'll go after anybody.
Oh, yeah.
And then you got a guy like Lucic, that guy will put you through the glass and make you pay. And
absolutely.
I loved him on Boston, dude. It was that series we played against him. I had to hate him because I'm a Hawks fan, but when he played Vancouver that season, and that was the 2011 final, Boston won, he was a monster. Just going after Burroughs, going after Kessler, the Sedins, and those guys, they live for that agitation hockey. And man, I loved it. It'd be great if they can end up getting Lucic.
What about someone I want to talk about is Ryan O'Reilly. The Blackhawks are without a captain. I hear that he's looking for somewhere around the range of $6.25 million for 3 years. Clearly, that outprices him for Toronto. Ryan, I'm going to get paid. O'Reilly wants either 3 years at 6.25 or 4 years at $25 million. Now, I think that's right up the Blackhawks. I think that's right up their alley. He brings leadership. He's a great center, and I think that he could mentor Bedard.
Well, at that dollar figure, man, I'm really big on that. And the leadership alone and the style of his center, like his two-way game, if Connor Bedard can learn that, he'd be the biggest superstar in hockey history. Being a two-way guy and putting up big numbers, man, it's always one or the other, Like Bergeron, he's such a great defensive center. He didn't really, he never put in 50 goals and, he didn't do that. But having a complete player like that would be insane. And
it'd be like Steve Yzerman.
Oh God, man, that would be phenomenal. I'd be okay with Ryan O'Reilly, but who knows what his situation is? I'm sure I know he's got cups. He might want to get paid here. I think he'd get probably a little bit more money, but sometimes those guys get a taste of it, and they just want to keep being in playoff hockey, and he's going to have to accept it might not be playoff hockey for 2 years in his deal. So
I don't think he's one of those guys. He's one of those guys who just wants his money. He wants to get paid.
Yeah,
he's already won a cup.
That's true because he did sign with Buffalo.
Right?
Yeah.
Right. He just wants to get paid. He went from Colorado to Buffalo.
Yeah. Then when he got to St. Louis, he really, I think his attitude changed a little bit. He got a bigger role, and man, he was awesome that playoff year when they won the cup.
He was.
He was really good last year too for Toronto. Like that guy was good, and I've always been a fan of him. I love that sulky guy. I always root for him. Any of those guys.
I think that he would be, and to be honest with you, they can give him the C.
Probably, man. Probably, but I think a guy honestly, I don't think the Hawks are going to give a guy a C for the first couple of years now, but Seth Jones would be a good captain. And everybody else says Connor Murphy, but I always see Connor Murphy's names in the trade rumors. So don't throw a C on a guy just to throw a C. I mean, you want him to be there for a while. And I know we just said that, hey, maybe Jones is going to get traded to Dallas. That's something that you got to consider. You don't want to give a guy a C and end up, trading him. But I think I'd rather let it grow with a guy, whether it's Bedard, Korchinski, Nolan Allen, any of those guys.
Right. So I got to let everybody know that to download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use code THPN. This code THPN is only at DraftKings Sportsbook. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-THE-GAMBLER. In Massachusetts, call 1-800-327-5050 or visit gamblinghelplinema.org. In New York, call 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Kansas, call 1-800-522-4700. On behalf of both Boot Hill Casino and Resort Kansas, 21 plus in most eligible states, but age varies by jurisdiction. Eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. And state-specific responsible gambling resources. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. Eligibility and deposit restrictions apply. Terms at sportsbook.draftkings.com/hockey terms. Now, moving on, man. Johansson was traded to the Avalanche by the Predators for, I have a hell of a time saying this guy's name. Galchenyuk. Yeah.
Galchenyuk.
He's a former number 3 pick, isn't he?
Ryan Johansson or
Actually, now that I think about it, aren't they both?
2010 Columbus drafted Ryan Johansson first round, 4th overall pick. Yeah.
Okay. I thought he was number 3.
No, 4th overall.
Yeah, I know. I'm saying I thought that he was number 3. Oh. But wasn't Galchenyuk was number 3, wasn't he?
I don't know. Wasn't he drafted by the Maple Leafs?
Let me look into it. Hold on a second.
Well, this is a weird one to me, man. Second line center, his numbers haven't been that great. I mean, last year, I guess you could say it was a decent year. 67 games played, 19 goals, 35 assists, plus 8. I'm sure he's happy to get out of Nashville and go to a team that, likes to score goals.
Wow, look at this draft, man. 2012, number 1, Nail Yakupov. I remember that. Man, he sucked.
Yeah.
Ryan Murray, Columbus. I don't even know. He's played 445 games. Haven't seen much of him. And then Alex Galchenyuk for Montreal.
Wow. Oh, yeah, the Habs did. And then he went to Toronto, I think. He was traded to Toronto.
I don't remember.
He's kind of jumped around the Canadian market.
Yeah, Morgan Riley went number 5 to Toronto.
Oh.
Matt Hampus Lindholm to Anaheim. Matt Dumba to Minnesota. Derek Pulio to Pittsburgh. Jacob Trouba to Winnipeg.
Wow, a lot of misses down there.
Wow, dude, Slater Kukuk was number 10.
Blackhawks?
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, I remember.
Slater Kukuk was number 10. He got drafted by Tampa.
He ended up going back to Tampa, no?
I don't remember. Wow. I don't know where he's at now.
Yeah, I remember him. That didn't work out here.
I thought he was okay.
Yeah. Just the
Tom Wilson?
Wrong time. That's always the wrong time.
Oh, yeah, that was Toivo's. That was his
30th,
draft.
right? Teuvo?
No, Toivo went 18th.
18th. Okay.
Yeah. Malcolm Subban, number 24. Wow.
Boston, right?
Yeah.
Boston. They gave up on him. They knew.
They did. Yeah. They sent him to Vegas.
Vegas, and then Vegas sent him to us.
Right, and that was it.
Thanks.
No, didn't he go back to Boston and sing, and then that was it?
He went back to Buffalo.
Buffalo.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Thanks,
Wow.
Vegas.
Yeah, no kidding. So, Johansson, man, I mean, this guy, I'm surprised that he's kind of bounced around because he's been pretty reliable.
Yeah, 54 points last year, and what was that? 67 games played. I mean, his numbers aren't bad. It just when you play on two teams that aren't known for scoring goals, it's kind of a tough spot for you.
Right.
He's making a lot of money, man. He's making $8 million a year too, and I can't remember if Columbus paid him that or Nashville, but man, that's a lot of money for him.
Yeah, Jacob Slavin went fourth in that.
Oh, he was. Oh, that's right, dude. Okay, so here's the trade: Ryan Johansson for Seth Jones. That was the trade back on January 6th, 2016.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, that's something I
remember that
forgot.
now. And they ran into each other at the airport.
Did. They took a picture together. That's pretty cool, actually. You know, it's like, hey, good luck over there. I'll take your spot. Let's switch it up.
Wow.
I can't believe the Preds traded him because Seth Jones, man, he had a lot of potential to be a number one there, I think. And they gave up on him.
I agree.
And they ended up getting rid of Weber. You know? That's crazy.
Well,
and Suter.
He came with Weber and Suter.
Man, imagine trading those three guys. And they're still playing. Well, Weber's finally done, but Weber was a good defenseman.
Yeah, he was.
I said Gary Suter. No, Ryan Suter, Uncle Gary. But Ryan Suter, he was good with Dallas last year. He just plays defense. Like, I mean, he's not flashy or anything, but he's still in the league. It's crazy.
You know, is Vinny Hinostroza still in the league?
I think he's with Buffalo, man. Yeah, I think he's with Buffalo.
Okay. Yeah, I thought that
he had a man.
Yeah, I was too. I thought that he played really hard.
Hardworking kid from Chicago. I like that.
Yeah. All right. So let's go over the 2023 NHL Awards finalists.
Interesting.
I wanted to. I'm glad that you brought this up. So for the Hart Trophy, they've got and predictions for the Hart Trophy. They've got Connor McDavid from Edmonton, David Pastrnak from Boston, and Matthew Tkachuk for the Panthers. Now, obviously, you can make a case for all three. I think Boston still would have been a winning team without David Pastrnak, but they wouldn't have been annihilating everybody the way that they were. Edmonton, now here's where it gets tricky. With Edmonton, can they win without Connor McDavid? No, they can't. And I think that's the difference between McDavid and Pasta. Now look at Matthew Tkachuk on throwing that in there. Matthew Tkachuk took his team to the Stanley Cup Finals, which is a lot further than Connor McDavid's ever done. And I think that he is the bigger factor in his team, because the Panthers were a President's Trophy winning team. They had a great team and they couldn't get it done. They traded one of their biggest pieces, brought another guy in, and he got them to essentially the final dance. Connor McDavid, on the other hand, he's had a team built around him and can't get the job done. What do you think, man? I think Tkachuk.
Your last statement made it very easy for me to say Matthew Tkachuk is the MVP. Everything you said was dead on the nuts. If you take Matthew Tkachuk away from the Panthers, they are in the running for Connor Bedard. That's how bad they'd be. So, Pasta, 60 goals this year, 110, 100, whatever, 9 points. Great season. Unbelievable season for Boston. But Boston was like 70-10, you know?
Right.
I think Boston is going to be good no matter what. They're just built good. Nothing against Pasta. Right. That was an MVP-like season. Connor is going to get 200 million points a year, and yeah, good. It's kind of like when are you going to get eliminated? Round 1 or 2? you know?
Right.
So I'm giving it to Matthew Tkachuk just because of the season play too and the playoff play. Like, he was the story of the whole playoffs. Playing hurt, playing like a maniac, scoring big OT goals. And, you know, and even at the beginning of the season, he was the offseason story, the big trade. He doesn't want to play in Calgary anymore. He gets traded for Huberdeau, ends up signing, and then has this great season his first year there. And absolutely, he's the MVP for me for the playoffs and the regular season. I know he didn't get the MVP because they were the losing team, but for me, MVP playoffs, MVP season, Hart Trophy, easy choice, Matthew Tkachuk.
Now onto the Norris Trophy, which is, I would think, maybe probably one of the most controversial awards now, because you have people on two sides of the aisle. You got the people that talk about the defensive aspects of the game, and you got the people talking about the offensive aspects of the game for the position. Now, personally, I favor more defensive guys because it's supposed to be a defensive award. The three nominees they have are Adam Fox, Erik Karlsson, and Cale Makar. Now, obviously, these are three guys. The first thing that you think about, you don't think defense. Erik Karlsson put up an absolute ton of numbers, but you know, pull that up, Matt.
Yeah, I got it. Erik Karlsson had 82 games played, 25 goals, very impressive for a defenseman, very impressive. 76 assists, 101 points, minus 26.
Wow. So he's a minus 26, meaning that he's a defensive liability out there.
Yeah.
And when we're giving a defensive award to somebody, I don't think that if you're a defensive liability, no matter how many points you put up,
defense. Yes.
it doesn't mean that you apply. Now, Adam Fox and Cale Makar, on the other hand, are two different stories, because they play both ends of the ice. Cale Makar, man, watching him defend Connor McDavid is a sight to see. Because these guys are,
that's what
they're
it's
going
about. Absolutely.
Yeah, they're going a million miles an hour, and he's going a million miles an hour backwards, and
taking the puck away and leading a rush the other way. That's defense, and that was super impressive. That series, it was not even fair.
Yeah. So between Cale Makar, I think he had a better season than Adam Fox did. Adam Fox, I think, had another great season. Not as good as last year, but I think he had another great season. I think that he's definitely a top defenseman in this league. A guy who can definitely be a game changer. But I think Cale Makar takes this one, man. I think he should take this one, but I think the league may give it to Erik Karlsson.
Yeah, if the league gives it to Karlsson with a minus like that, I don't care if you're on a bad team. You still have to play defense. So, I am actually, if I'm handing the award out, I'm giving it to Adam Fox. And I hate the New York Rangers, and I hate New York, period. But this guy's a plus 28. He's responsible in his own zone. He had 60 assists. That's freaking incredible. And 12 goals. 72 points. If I'm in charge of this award, Adam Fox is the guy getting the trophy. Cale Makar is the runner-up. Just because they're more responsible in their own zone. Erik Karlsson, I watched him play the Hawks twice. He turned the puck over twice, leading to goals. And I think it was actually that Dickinson that we got from and Sam Lafferty. They both made unbelievable forechecks on him, forcing him to turn the puck over, and the Hawks scored back-to-back goals. So I was like, he was
on the ice for every goal that game. I remember checking.
Yeah, for sure he can make passes, good outlet passes. He's a puck possession defenseman, which he's gonna take. He's gonna skate it up himself. He's gonna turn around and look for a guy coming in. And then he gets lost, man. And he's not fast enough to recover. So, yes, I know I hate for this guy, but it's just this Norris Trophy. I hate it. I think you can keep it. Keep it the Norris Trophy. It's about the highest scoring defenseman. That's all it is. It's not the best all around defenseman. That award should be created, and it should be called the Nick Lindstrom Award. The guy who can do it all. That's what a defenseman's about. And I think Adam Fox would win that one. Erik Karlsson can have his Norris Trophy because he got more points, because that's what it's about.
Vezina Trophy, Connor Hellebuck from the Winnipeg Jets, Eli Sorokin from the New York Islanders, and Linus Ullmark from Boston. Now, I'm very weary about Boston because these guys played on a team that was just from top to bottom, better than everybody else. So the team in front of Linus Ullmark was a hell of a lot better than Sorokin and Hellebuck. Now, Sorokin, on the other hand, man, I would probably say played on the worst team out of all of them, and I think that he was more impressive than all three. Hellebuck, I think that he had a great season, but I think Sorokin takes it, man.
Well, if it's picking like the Hart Trophy, like if you took a goalie away from a team, yeah, I think you're right. Sorokin is probably on the worst team, and if they didn't have him, they'd be an AHL team probably. But
yeah,
looking at Ullmark's numbers, man, he had 40 wins, 6 losses, and a 1.89 goals against. That's incredible. And
yeah, but that's also a byproduct of the team that he's on.
True.
Though.
Yeah, but I mean, he was still credited with those wins and those numbers. He had 49 starts, and he won 40 of them. That's incredible. And I've always been a huge Connor Hellebuck fan. He was 37-25. He had 64 starts. And I don't even know who the backup goalie is for the Jets. That's how important this guy is. I'm surprised he doesn't play 75 games. But he had a 2.49, which is pretty solid. Pretty solid. And going to Ilya Sorokin, his number's 31-22 with a 2.34 in 62 games played. So, I mean, the three goalies that should be are up for the North, that's the right guys. I don't want to hear about Shesterkin. I'm so tired of hearing about him being the best goalie in the world, because he's not. The best goalie in the world isn't even on this list, and it's Vasilevsky still. The dude's just dead tired. I mean, he's been in 3 finals. Yeah. The guy needs a break. This guy, the minute they got eliminated, I forget who they got eliminated by. Was it Carolina?
I think so.
He's probably going to rest himself, and he's going to come back next year and probably win the Vezina Trophy. But this year we got to pick one. I know I agree with you with Boston being a more complete team, but 40 wins, man, and 49 starts.
It's impressive.
It's unbelievable with a 1.89. That's still him doing his job. So I got to give him the edge.
All right. Ted Lindsay Award, given annually to the most outstanding player in the NHL as voted by fellow members of the NHL Players Association. Erik Karlsson, Connor McDavid, or Pasta. I think this goes to McDavid.
Yeah, everybody in the league thinks he's incredible. They always rave about him. I don't hear anything bad said about him either, so I'm going to agree with you on this one.
Calder Trophy, given to the best rookie, Matty Beniers from Seattle, Owen Power from Buffalo, or Stuart Skinner from Edmonton. I'm gonna go with Matty Beniers, man. I think that he just stormed onto the scene there in Seattle, and he became a big part of a team that turned it around in their second year in existence and became a playoff team. I think that there's more to come from Owen Power, and Stuart Skinner I think that he was a great player, but I don't think that he really has the backing to win.
Yeah, I'm looking at Stuart Skinner's numbers right now. 50 starts, 29 wins, 14 losses. That's pretty good for a rookie goaltender. Usually it takes a while for, like Crawford took a while to get going, and yeah, but he's on a team that with McDavid and Draisaitl, I mean, sometimes you can let up 6 and Connor and Leon will find a way to get 7, So yeah, I'm going to go with you, Matty Beniers. That whole Seattle run season they had this year, super impressive. I think they eliminated the champs in the first round too.
They did.
57 points in 80 games played as a rookie. I believe he's only 20 years old. That's impressive. I'm going to give him the Calder.
Jack Adams to the best coach. Dave Haxtell, Seattle Kraken. Jim Montgomery of the Boston Bruins. Lindy Ruff, the New Jersey Devils. I'm going to have to give it to Lindy Ruff, man. The Devils were awful. They were a very, very bad team. And Jack Hughes turned into a 40-goal scorer this year. And they knocked out the Rangers in the first round. And, they essentially turned into what they were supposed to be. So, but at the same time, man, Dave Haxtell with Seattle,
yep.
he really made this team from top to bottom a good team. I believe in that first round they had 14 different goal scorers. They had everybody contributing from top to bottom, and it was a group win. It's hard to. I think that it's kind of hard for me to choose, but I think Lindy Ruff's going to win this one.
I think Lindy Ruff deserves it, but I think like my Vezina story, my Vezina take. I think what did the Bruins have? 70-something wins. I think they're just going to give it to Montgomery because of the wins. But if it carries into the playoffs, I mean, what happened? Even Seattle and Jersey did better. So David Haxtell, I mean, damn, super impressive. Last to knocking the champs out in the first round. Man, goal scorers. You got young Matty Beniers coming up too. He's in good hands. I'm going to agree with you. I think Lindy Ruff deserves it, but I have a feeling Montgomery's going to get it just because of the wins they had in the season.
Right. All right. Selke Trophy. Patrice Bergeron, Nico Hischier, or Mitch Marner.
Favorite trophy, man. Favorite trophy.
This is this is given annually to the forward that best excels at the defensive aspects of the game. I'm going to have to give it to Bergeron, man. I think that Bergeron has, even in his final season, was a force to be reckoned with on the defensive side of the puck, and he contributed on the offside on the offense as well. I think runner-up is Nico Hischier, and I'm not sure what Mitch Marner's doing on the list.
Me neither, man. I when I was reading, I actually went to the plus minus stats, and if you look at your text, I sent it to you. I see guys up there that are plus 49. I see Joe Pavelski, 82 games played, 28 goals, 49 assists, 77 points, plus 42. I mean,
wow,
that he's above Patrice Bergeron. And so is Jason Robertson, plus 37. I'm not sure what they're looking for in this, but I mean, that's solid two ways, if I'm not mistaken, correct? I mean,
right, yeah.
Even David Pastrnak, plus 34. Yeah, he scored 1 million goals, and he's still good in his own zone. Austin Matthews was a plus 31. I don't even see Mitch Marner on this top 10. Do you?
No.
I don't know what. I don't know who came up with that. How they vote on that, but it actually the professional writers. Okay, the professional writers hockey people. Huh. Not sure what they were watching, but I mean, maybe they weren't watching Dallas hockey because there's some really good players down there that are big names that had better plus minuses and stuff. But I guess out of this list, I got to go with Bergeron too, just because the dude he cares more in his own zone. I think he would, block a shot or win a big faceoff than, get a point just to keep that puck out of his own net. And do you think it's his final season? Or do you think he's hungry for more
I think it
not
is.
Want to end like they did?
I think that this is it.
Okay, because he is 37. Usually these Selke guys, they play a little bit longer in their careers. So I think he's going to surprise everybody and come back for one more year and say, hey, we can't end it like that. Especially the Florida.
I don't know,
giving
man.
up what were they up 3-1?
Yeah,
and Florida just kind of came back and stunned them. So
yeah,
that was bad.
Lady Byng, given annually to the player voted best to combine sportsmanship, gentlemanly conduct, and ability, as voted by the Players Hockey Writers Association. Jack Hughes, Antti Kopitar, or Braden Point. I think this might go to Kopi, man. Kopitar. Jack Hughes, I mean, just because he's gentlemanly is, does, I mean, I don't know. I don't, he doesn't, he doesn't seem to mix it up with a lot of guys. I think that's purely because of his size. And the same thing with, with Point. He doesn't seem to go in and start cross-checking guys. You know what I mean?
In the playoffs, he was a little feisty. I noticed he was getting feisty. I think like Kopitar, though, he is just well respected. Look, he's another guy like who's won Selkies. He's just well respected, and he knows I'm not going to spend too much time in the box because I'm too important to be in the box type of guy. So I'm going to go with Kopitar too. I'm a big fan of him.
Next, we got the Jim Gregory General Manager of the Year Award, presented annually since 2009 to 2010 to the general manager who best excelled at his role during the regular season. Jim Nill for Dallas, Don Sweeney from Boston, or Bill Zito for the Panthers. Bill Zito.
yeah, for sure. We don't even have to talk about Boston. We know what happened. Dallas had a good run. I give that guy credit. They're not like a sexy team that's really picked to make a lot of noise, but they still find their way in getting up there. I think Nill's a good runner up, but yeah, Bill Zito with just that one trade alone put his team on the map with the Kachuk trade. So I'm gonna go with Bill Zito. All
right. And we've got the King Clancy Memorial Trophy given annually to the player who best exemplifies leadership qualities on and off the ice and has made a noteworthy humanitarian contribution in his community. Mikhail Backlund, Anders Lee, or Darnell Nurse. Now, I've heard a lot about Darnell Nurse doing a lot of contributions on the outside of hockey in Edmonton. So, to be honest with you, I want to tip my hat to all three of these guys for what they do. But I'm going to go with Darnell Nurse.
I'm going to go with you because I always see stories about him and his sister. She's a big hockey player in Hockey Canada. I'm going to go with Darnell Nurse, too.
What's her name?
I forget, but Connor McDavid always raves about Sarah. Yeah, you're right. Sarah Nurse. He always raves about her. Like, she's phenomenal. And he's always...
Doesn't she... she was on the cover of NHL 23, wasn't she?
And she seems like a really well-rounded person. Very nice, respectable, and just good role model for young hockey girls. So I'm going to go with the Nurse, Darnell Nurse, because I think, like you said, I always see stories about him giving back.
And we've got the Bill Masterton Memorial Trophy given annually to the NHL player voted to best exemplify the qualities of perseverance, sportsmanship, and dedication to hockey as voted by members of the Professional Hockey Writers Association. Clayton Keller from Arizona, Chris Letang from Pittsburgh, Alex Stalock from the Blackhawks. Now, Stalock, I think, had an excellent year for the Blackhawks, considering the team he was playing on. But Chris Letang has had health issue after health issue after health issue. I think he's for having blood. Stroke. He had blood clots at one point, I believe. And his ability to come back from all of this is really, really impressive. I'm going to have to give it to Letang.
Yeah, I mean, going through a stroke and end up coming back. I think he had like a small hole in his heart, I wanted to say. I think I read something.
That's crazy.
But you know what? I'm a goalie guy, and I know Alex Stalock's he battled, I think he had like a long COVID, and he feared he would never play again. And you know what? When he signed with the Hawks, I was like, oh my God, like, what are we doing? We want to suck. But every time he started... This guy was competing, man. Early in the season, he was making that save where you're like, what? This guy has no business making a save like that. And then you see his speeches in the locker room, like all the guys rallied around him. And, it's good to see, like, after, you fight that adversity 2 years. I think actually the 1 year I don't think he could play. His lungs were so bad. But I'm going to go with the goalie guy, Blackhawk, Alex Stalock.
And lastly, the Mark Messier NHL Leadership Award. Now, they didn't give any finalists, no finalists have been announced, but the winner will be unveiled at the NHL Awards. Kachuk. So
that's it.
Maybe, man.
That's that. You only need to put his name. That's it.
Yeah, that's it, man. I mean, he practically willed his team single-handedly.
Yeah, you don't need a letter, you don't need a C, you don't need an A to win this award. But I think he's an A on the team. But for sure,
yeah, he is.
I'm going Matthew Tkachuk for that. You don't even need to talk about it because he deserves it.
Well, everyone, check us out on Twitter. Let us know what you think, who's going to win. Very interested to hear. The awards can be, pretty cool to watch sometimes to see who gets nominated and who actually wins. So let us know what you think. The draft is this week. Let us know what number you think Bedard is going to wear. We're interested. And we'll catch you on the next one. This is the Tomahawk, and we're out of here.